last blackout here held some special meaning back at the Creighton game. I know you guys don't do that very often, so do you feel like this game is deserving of a special occasion like the blackout?
That wasn't my choice. I'm glad that we're doing it, but I'm not sure they even asked me. So the marketing department wants to do a blackout. Sounds like the fans want to do a blackout, so here we go. I assume we're going to use black uniforms at home, so that'll be unusual, but I guess it was 2007-8 season. No, it's 8-9 season. And we had started 0-6 in the Missouri Valley Conference. And we'd scheduled a blackout against Creighton at that time, the arch nemesis. And we won a close game, as I recall, and it's been going gangbusters since. Basically turned around. I think we were 4-14 the first year, and 0-6, so we were 4-20 in the Valley regular season up until that point. And it's probably about opposite of that since then, until we changed leagues. So it helped. Hopefully this will do the same. May I get some game notes, please? Thank you. Thanks.
And I know you talked a lot about Memphis's defense, just how unusual it is, how well they run and jump, but on offense, I know they have a lot of talent. What do you see on that side of the ball, and what do you guys have to do a good job of to limit them?
Well, everyone's going to have a guy that's capable of going and getting a bucket. We're going to have to execute against their sets and the things that they do to try to gain an advantage. Just a lot of tremendously talented young players. I don't know how. It's a young group. They've got the one senior, I think, the JUCO post player that played last year, and a couple of sophomores in Lomax and Harris. I'm trying to think who else plays that has played prior, but it's mostly freshmen and guys that either, I don't know where some of them came from, whether they sat out last year or they're true freshmen, but I do know that the big kid inside is a tremendous player. Boogie Ellis is a tremendous player. DJ Jeffries is a tremendous player. We tried to recruit a couple of them unsuccessfully, so anticipate a tremendously talented team that plays really, really hard and fast.
One of those guys you try to recruit is DJ Jeffries, correct? How good is he and what he brings to the game?
He's a 6'9" forward that can shoot it and put it on the deck and score. I mean, he's just a very good player all around.
And is this kind of the biggest test for the bigs since the West Virginia game, do you feel like?
Perhaps, yeah. I haven't thought about that, but they'll be challenged. Everyone will be challenged. If you're on the floor, you're going to have a guy that can play the game, so you're going to have to be in a stance and be alert to our game plan and just be on point. But we've been doing that. Very pleased with the defensive effort. Going back and watching the film against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss and Memphis had a heck of a game that I watched prior to the Ole Miss game. There's a lot of animosity, but amongst those two programs, because I guess it's pretty close. I'm not sure how far Oxford is from Memphis, but I know Memphis recruits Mississippi and Mississippi recruits Memphis. So.
Coach, what kind of opportunity does a game like this bring, a game of this caliber, another two top 25 teams? You've been looking forward to this one all year. What kind of opportunity does this bring for you and your team?
Well, a team that has had a lot of attention because of their recruiting class, and I think were they picked to win the league this year? I think they were. And you get them twice. You get them once in Memphis and once here. So it'll be just in the scheme of the league, it's going to be a big game, and it's very early. So it kind of sets the tone for who's looking up at whom. And hopefully it'll be us on top. But it's going to be a lot of basketball to be played, a lot of plays, thousands of plays in that 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it takes.
I know this is a completely different Memphis team, but just because they got the wins last year, do you think these sophomores, Jamie, are they motivated by that going into this year? They want to get them back?
You'd have to ask them. Probably, no one in our program likes to lose, and they did beat us last year. So Jeremiah Martin went off in the second game here. He was tremendous in the second half, especially. We didn't really threaten them too much at their place early in the year last year, but they're an entirely different team. I mean, they had 5 seniors last year, and this year they've got a bunch of freshmen and a couple sophomores.
JB has drastically changed his three-point percentage, going up to now shooting 50%. Where would you guys be without that this year in his improvement?
Yeah, I'm very pleased that he did that because he put in a lot of work. Over the summer, into the fall. Last year, teams were able to just camp in the lane on he as well as Ricky Torres. And it makes it very difficult. You can't drive, you can't pass into the post, and basically just dare that guy to shoot. And we struggled because of that last year. So you can't do that with him this year. I mean, he's shooting it well. It looks great coming out of his hand. He's got, other than his free throw, which has got to get better, but his 2-point percentage is 49 and his 3-point percentage is 50, and he's making 1 a game, taking 2 a game. So I'm excited that he's seeing the benefits of all that hard work.
I don't know if you saw Cheese Johnson. Did you see that news?
Yeah, I've been in touch with Cheese a little bit via text. I got the word that he had the bypass, but I didn't know he had a heart attack until I read it.
Yeah, I guess what would you say or what would you like to say to him? Just the well
Well,
wishes.
in my last text to him, I said, "We need you. When are you going to be back? We need you." I mean, he's such a positive guy, and he loves Wichita State. He loves the program, and everybody loves him. I mean, how could you not? I mean, just a wonderful personality. So I look forward to him getting back and being around, stopping by practice, talking to the fellas. He almost looks like he could still play. So I'm surprised that he had a heart attack, but I'm glad that they fixed him. And with the quadruple bypass, I think he'll be better than ever.
In a week like this, I know you guys treat it like any other game, but just with all the hype, I mean, is this, as a coach, I mean, do you get excited for games like this just because they are, this is a big time matchup?
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to be seeing some pros, pros coming into Coke Arena, Memphis, great tradition, proud program, famous coach, and he's probably got some players that may be famous real soon too, as far as playing at the highest level. And our guys, we've got some pros as well. So it's just a fun matchup. It's why you join that league, why the American Athletic Conference makes sense for us. I mean, it's big boy basketball in early January and a meaningful game, and 2 teams really going at it. I think it's going to be really, really entertaining.
Coach, the polls came out yesterday. Memphis took a big dip from 9 to 21. Were you surprised when that ranking came out?
I was surprised they dipped quite that far. I thought they would be probably 16, somewhere like that. But you lose at home, and Georgia's pretty good. I watched the Memphis-Georgia game before our game the other day, and I watched Georgia play SMU also, which was at Georgia. SMU could have won the game. They made a couple free throws, but they didn't. They lost in like double or triple overtime. So I've seen Georgia, and Georgia's much improved. I mean, that kid Anthony Edwards and other freshmen are really, really talented. Tom Crean brought in a heck of a recruiting class also at Georgia. So both games right down to the end, and Georgia won both of them. So Georgia's putting themselves in a position to be in the conversation after not being an NCAA tournament team the last year or so. But know that there was a lot of young talent on the floor. I mean, I don't know, I didn't watch all 40 minutes, but I had it on. I think the game was on CBS prior to our game, so I was trying to break down Ole Miss film and watch that game. And so of the 4 games, that was the only one we lost in the challenge. SMU won in overtime against Vandy, and Houston won in South Carolina. So,
Coach, you got 2 guys on the roster out of Sunrise. I know that's one of the best programs in the country, really. I guess what do they do so well that prepares them for this kind of basketball?
First of all, they play a big time schedule, you know, and there's a lot of Division I players in every practice, so they just get better. They work in practice. Luke and Achoki and those guys, they work them hard. They lift weights but they have to go to school. And that's a very good school as well. So they get the combined full prep school experience. It's not just a basketball factory. It's a very good school, and they get them prepared academically. But most importantly, the guys that go to the prep program, they play a national schedule. So they're all over the country playing some of the best teams and best talent that you can find, which prepares them for the next level.
With the school being, 5, 6, 7 miles away, it's got to be a huge leg up for you guys over the rest of the country.
It's not even that far, but it's just right over by Koch Industries. So it's a you know, every program seems to filter through Wichita to, you know, we'll see guys wanting to come to our practices, and where are you coming from? Well, I was in here recruiting. I mean, you know where they are, but it's good. I mean, we've had a number of players from Sunrise over the years, and we want to continue that relationship. And you know, you can recruit there and still sleep in your own bed, so it's a nice advantage.
Coach, just around the league, we saw Cincinnati go down. A lot of people on the outside looking in may think the Americans top heavy, but would you say, this is still a more competitive league than people give it credit for?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen all the teams. I know that top heavy, I don't know. I know that East Carolina picked down towards the bottom, gave us all we wanted a couple of days ago. I know that Tulane, I watched them over the holidays in the Myrtle Beach tournament on ESPN, beat Utah, and then beat Cincinnati, so they're better, obviously. Coach Hunter's doing a great job. UConn, they can beat anyone. I saw them beat somebody early in the season, like in November. Looked really, really good. Temple, those are good programs, good players. And we've got a tough road trip coming up after the Memphis game, so you're not going to hear me say it's top heavy.
Pretty good.